Hello and welcome back to learning to play the guitar. Last time we did the A chord, and the time before that we did the D chord. This time we are on to the E chord, so let's get into that. Sorry, I have a sore throat, by the way, so if I sound quite groggy, that's why.
I'm still here, and we're ready to now check out our third chord, which is going to be the E chord. So hopefully you've got your D chord and you've got your A chord and you're remembering them, really important, and you're ready for this third one, because to be honest, I don't even know any songs with just 2 chords. They all need 3 chords, but once you get 3 chords, there's loads of songs that you can play. So let's get to a little close up now and check out our third and final chord.
The E chord isn't as hard as the A chord,
which
actually.
is the E chord. Well, here we are. This is an E chord. I'm holding it down for you right now so you get a bit of a sneak preview. Okay, so what we're going to do is put our fingers down in the usual order, which is starting with the first finger. And this time, it's still on the 3rd string, but this time it's in the 1st fret. So we count over 1, 2, 3, and it's in the 1st fret. Pretty easy one, that's your 1st finger. 2nd finger is going to reach over, and it's going to go on the 5th string at the 2nd fret. You might find that a little bit of a stretch. Remember, trying to get it up nice and close to the fret if you can. It's not going to be impossibly close because underneath, 3rd finger has to go. So 3rd finger is going on the 4th string at the 2nd fret. It's a pretty comfortable chord, this one. You shouldn't find it too difficult. The big deal here is making sure that the fingers are nicely round. Don't let them go too flat like this. That's really not going to help you play this chord well at all. On the tips of your fingers is really important. Now, as usual, we're going to go through and we're going to pick them one at a time. So we're going to do...
Now again, I said it wasn't difficult, however, in terms of finger position, but you might still have problems with your fingers, so, but don't worry about that for now. Well, take breaks if it gets bad, but you'll get used to it.
Strum, pick out each note individually and strum. If you have a look at the neck diagram, or if you remember it from when it was just on the screen a few seconds ago, you'll notice that on this chord we actually strum all of the strings. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with strum. Then we're going to pick them out one at a time.
Oh, that didn't sound right.
And the first one, the thick string, should be fine. There shouldn't be any problems there. There's nothing that can disturb it really. 2nd finger, maybe. If you haven't learnt your lesson now about your 2nd finger. Anyway, that 2nd note should also be pretty straightforward. If it's buzzy, like this, it means you're not pressing hard enough or you're too far away from the fret. Remember, the further away from the fret you get, the harder you have to press, which is another reason why it's really, really good to try and get your fingers nice and close to the frets if you can. Okay, now looking at that 3rd finger, should be nice and close, so we should have, all of those notes should be pretty simple. Now the next note is the 3rd string, which is where the note played with by your 1st finger. Now a lot of people get this, and that 3rd finger is dead. Now the usual culprit is the 3rd finger leaning over a little bit too much and resting on that 3rd string. So as long as you curl your fingers nicely and you're using the fingertips, you should be able to get that note okay. And then we've got here 2 open strings. Now again, if 1st finger's laying a little bit flat, you might get that on the 2nd string. So just try and curl that 1st finger round to let those 2 strings ring out. Also, remembering that there should be a gap. If I'm just lifting my fingers up, there needs to be a gap here between the bottom of the guitar and the palm of your hand, or the top palm of your hand. If you haven't, very often you'll get this. The 1st finger won't be ringing out because it'll actually, underneath the 1st finger and the 2nd finger, they will be touching that thinner string. So again, make sure you just bring your knuckles forward a little bit, keeps your fingers nice and round. Look, if I look at you like this, you can see the fingers are really round. That's the shape of them. It's not like this where they're trying to get the chords all flat. They're round. There's an E chord, so I'm just pulling my hand off. That's what the shape is. It's round, like you're holding a ball or something, or a bat. It's round, but just make sure that the palm of your hand isn't also touching the back of the neck. That's also the last thing that could be making your E chord less than perfect. Now, you're remembering now that you've got 3 chords, A, D and E. So you're working on trying to make them sound really nice. And the thing you should be doing is exactly what I talked about a few times now. Strum, pick out the notes individually and make sure that the notes sound really good. And then when, at the end of that, when you've got all the notes sounding good and you give it that last strum, mentally tell yourself that that's actually going to, that's the way that I want my fingers to go now. So you're just telling yourself, oh, it sounds a bit funny, and you're kind of talking to your fingers, right, which makes you a little bit loopy. But it really makes a difference in mentally that you're telling your fingers, that's how I want you to go from now on. A little handy hint from you. Okay, so we've now got our 3 chords ready. Now we're ready for the next part of learning guitar, which is changing between the chords, which everyone has a little bit of fun with. And I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick and how to make it loads easier to change between these first 3 chords. So I'll see you again soon.
So that was the E chord. Now, pluck, 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 and then strum. Now this high E is buzzing a little bit. Maybe I haven't tuned it properly, I'm not sure. Maybe I need to learn how to do that as well. So that was D, A and E, and next time, as Justin said, I'll go through his next lesson, chord changes between those 3 chords that we've learned already. So I'll see you then, and I hope you enjoyed this video.